All right, welcome to the weekend video. This is Enda here. Welcome, like I said, and I'm not going to chit chat. I'm going to go straight into it. We're going to go through the market from an Elliott perspective, and let's see what we can gleam after this week's action, shall we? A nice day on the west of Ireland here. Clouds are covering us as usual, but it's nice all the same. Okay, summer doldrums are probably in, most likely. Although it's been still an interesting weeks or a couple of weeks action. So, right, we'll start on the FX market, and we will see. Uh, yeah, you can say that the summer doldrums are in, but so many people, so much retail trading is going on that maybe we'll never see summer doldrums again. It's possible. Okay, here's euro dollar. This is the thesis that I am working on. Go to the daily count here. Here's the thesis that I'm working on: three-wave decline in a wave D of a triangle, and then we'll rebound again in wave E of a triangle. Okay, move on to the 4-hour count. Here we have the ongoing three-wave decline. I think it's a flat pattern so far. So 3 waves down, it should be 3 waves up in B, and then 5 waves down in wave C. We had an acceleration in a third wave, pretty standard, bog standard. The pattern on the short-term chart is working quite well so far. It looks like we are completing wave 3 and 4 of that larger wave C. Now, if the trend channel is filled, let's go to the 4-hour count for a second. The minimum target is 117, so a break of 117, that'll be the wave A low. However, if the trend channel of wave C is completed, then or filled, let's say. Hold on, let's get a label down there. A label down here for wave 5. Okay, if wave 5 fills the channel like I think it might, then it looks like we'll complete this fourth wave on Monday, and then we'll decline probably down towards the 115.50, 115.70 area. And that'll complete 5 waves down in wave C. It'll break the minimum target, and then we can probably start looking higher again into wave D of that triangle. But for the moment, keep an eye on 117, and let's see if wave 4 can complete on Monday and wave 5 can turn down again. And obviously, the nightly charts will keep you posted on that, if you remember. Okay, so here is. I always have to give a little plug to myself. Don't disparage me for that. Okay, so cable, the count is performing reasonably well. Hold on. Wave 1 is complete. Performing reasonably well. It looks like we are rebounding today in a second wave, like I thought that we could, or a wave C of that second wave, and we'll get a target on that for us in a second. Let's get that in there. So we've got 5 waves down, and we're working on 3 waves up. We've got a kind of a band target zone, let's say, for wave 2 to complete. So let's go back into the hourly chart, and we'll show you here. So the 5 waves down in wave 1, you can see there wave 3, 4, and 5 down in wave 1, and now we're working on wave 2. So if that's wave A up, then we have a wave B down to a very tight enough higher low, but a higher low nonetheless. And then we rallied higher strongly today, so that kind of vindicates the wave count for the moment. So we're working on a wave or an ABC pattern up. I'm not sure. Is it a zigzag? It's actually, excuse me. Excuse me. It's I'm yawning here. I think it probably is a zigzag actually. I haven't labeled that structure there in wave A, but it looks like it's probably a zigzag higher. Okay. If that's the case, then it's 535, and we should expect 5 waves up in wave C. Minimum target at 138.96, so we'll call it 139. But we have a band here, or let's say a target zone from the wave A high to the previous fourth wave high. So we've got 140 at the previous fourth wave. So somewhere between 139 and 140, we should top out in wave C and then head lower again. Um, but minimum target being 139, let's say, for wave C. And then we head lower to begin wave 3 down. So it should be, you know, a pretty, let's say, sustained decline into a third wave coming our way in cable pretty soon. Okay, so dollar yen. Here's the fourth way, or sorry, the 4 hour count. I'll go to the daily count actually because I've updated the count this week. You will remember last week that I was kind of over the last couple of weeks actually. I've been kind of scratching my head over this rally here in dollar yen. The There's still two ways to kind of view this, and actually the pop higher this morning is a nod in favor of the next alternate. But for the moment, I was viewing this the as, let's say, an ongoing fifth wave up in wave one, um, but we weren't getting that sustained acceleration, that kind of burst higher in a third wave, which you would expect, and we kept getting crossover after crossover after crossover. So the alternate count was always sitting here. That we've got an A, B, C second wave already underway, and it looks like that's probably where we're at right now. If we go, well, let's deal with this here. If it's a second wave that is ongoing right now, then it's an expanded flat. So it's wave A. Wave B breaks above the wave A beginning, and wave C should break below the wave A end. So we have a minimum target at 107.45, and that brings us down towards that 50% retracement level. So somewhere between 107.40 and 106.50, let's say, we should find a low in wave C if this count is correct. Now let's go into the oh yeah, no, I should probably deal with this on the 4 hour count. I said to you the last night or the other night that that there is a possible alternate here, which would be more bullish. Now the decline this week, while it was sharp enough, um, it's still only in three waves, and we've got a reasonable bounce off the overnight low. So it can still be viewed as a correction down. Now the main wave count is allowing for that larger C wave to decline and to continue. So we'll see whether we get a break to a new low later on today or Monday or so. But you can still parse this move out as two separate 1-2 waves. So if you were to take wave 1 and a running flat wave 2, and then a wave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, wave 1, zigzag down, wave 2. So let's say the cutoff point for this alternate idea here would be, excuse me, 108.54. If we got a break of 108.54 again, call it 108.50, then it'll pretty much confirm the idea that wave C of 2 is underway. So well, I'm tripping over my tongue here. Suffice to say that if this decline this week, this is the hourly chart, if this week's decline ends up being only three waves down, then we have that bullish alternate. And you can see that 5-wave pattern here off this. This would be a second wave, and then we could go up in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that'd be a further 1-2 pattern. And here's the low again, 108. Sorry, on the hourly count, it's 108.55. We've got to watch for. So that level seems to be pretty critical right now. We have a second wave high here at 110.81, so I would suspect that level should hold as this C wave develops. So watch out next week for, let's say, a further decline to confirm this C wave, or initially, if we get a break of 110.81, then I think that would swing it in favor of the alternate bullish count. So we'd be looking at a 1, 2, and then an acceleration into a third wave. So I think either way, this large third wave is going to begin pretty well. Over the next few weeks, we'll either bottom out in wave 2 and we'll head higher into a third wave, or we'll bottom out at this lower wave two, a lower degree wave two here, and then accelerate into a third of a third. We'll see how that goes over the next few weeks. Okay, here is the count in the Dow. You can see here the daily count, that last year's extreme decline, the largest, fastest decline that has ever happened in US stock market history, is a wave four low, and we are, let's say, reaching the end of this never-ending fifth wave. I have reconsidered things this morning since we've got a bounce higher instead of a continuation lower. So that bounce pretty much rules out, I think, the idea that we've got a 1-2 wave forming here off the top. We're going to the 4-hour count, and I'll show you where I'm thinking right now. So I have been viewing this as a well, it was my favorite count. That doesn't mean it's the right one, let's say. So we've got a sharp enough decline here. I was viewing this as a wave one, and then a large expanded flat wave two. So we had a 1-2 pattern in place, expecting a third wave decline. We did get a couple of steps lower this week, but it was, as I was saying the other night there, it was continuing within a channel, and it was 3 waves. And then today we had the kind of knockout blow that the market burst higher again and did not continue to the downside. No, there's no follow through in it. Henceforth, the need for an alternate view here. So the idea being that we have just had a 3-wave decline in a further trend channel. I'll show you that trend channel. Excuse me. A 3-wave decline in a 4th wave, and then we're heading higher in a 5th wave. Now, if we take this larger wave 5 in blue here, I know people are going to be nodding their head at me, going, "Oh, look at he's changing his count again. He's changing his count." Well, this last year has seen. Let's go to the daily count again. No, I should go to the weekly count. This last year has seen the largest, fastest, most extreme, most overbought, most euphoric, most over-leveraged, most idiotic, most complacent, most dumb rally that has ever happened in any market apart from, let's say, Bitcoin, in any stock market that the world has ever seen. So, forgive me if I am cynical here. Okay, back to the 4-hour count. You can see here we've got wave 5 in blue, tracing out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I was always going with the idea that we had an ending diagonal working, or I was working on the presumption that we had an ending diagonal here. So I was working on a wave 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 up to the recent high. The range was contracting. We had, a series of internal 3-wave patterns. We had that nice wedge forming, and then we had a breakout to the downside out of the rising wedge. So, until last week, that count was still very viable. And until this morning, I think that count was still my favorite. But we've got that retracement after this week's decline. So it just pretty much knocked it out of the park. So the idea here is that we've got a 3-wave pattern lower instead of an impulsive pattern. We've got 3 waves down, we've filled a trend channel, and now we're moving higher out of that in a 5th wave. So we've got wave 3 top, wave 4 low, and wave 5 underway. Okay, so let's get down to the hourly count here. You can see we've got the wave 4 low labeled there. Now, here is where things get interesting again. And this is where I will no doubt see rolling eyes. I can see you through this camera, So stop rolling your eyes at me. I can't see you through the camera. That's just a joke. It's just a joke. Okay. We've got the possibility, two possible counts here on this rally off last week's low. So we've got the main one being, let's say, you could call it the more bullish, short term anyway. So we could have 5 waves up in wave 1 and 3 waves down in wave 2, and then we accelerate into a third wave next week. Okay. If that's the case, then we will continue higher and we'll probably push above 36,000 to complete wave 3. Okay. Slight problem with that. The internal pattern also, it can also be viewed as an extended third wave. So we've got a wave 1, a 2 in gray. We've got wave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in, let's put in an alternate there. An extended third wave in wave 3. We've got a 3-wave decline, A, B, C, into a fourth wave. The fourth wave low held above the wave 1 high. So we have a margin of safety there, let's say, about 150 points. So this count does not break any of the rules of Elliott wave either. So the alternate count is at this moment probably as viable as the main count right here for a continuation of a fifth wave. If we get the main count, if that ends up what actually happens in wave 5 in green, then we'll probably see a high in around 36,500 or so. And I know there you are nodding your head again. But, you know, for the previous reasons, you will have to forgive me on that one. Okay. So next week, we will see either a rally in a fifth wave or a rally in a third wave. So it'll most likely be a rally. If we don't break out to a new high, then I'll probably have to switch back to the previous wave count again. If this completely fails and we turn lower and we break below 33,000 again, then I think we've got our third wave that I was looking for all along. Okay, let's move on. Stop explaining. Let's move on. Okay. Gold 4-hour count. So far, so good. We've got a rebound this week. It's hard to know whether we've got a larger fourth wave here. You've got I think it's a fourth wave. Whatever the actual pattern is, you can kind of decide amongst yourselves quietly in class there. But so far the wave count is working out quite well. Everybody called me an idiot up here at 1915, and now then we had this pretty drastic decline. So I think we've got an ongoing 5-wave decline, and I think we will continue wave 5 of C pretty soon. And if we break below, call it 1750 again, that will probably lead to a decline into about 1650 at least in wave C. So we've got an ongoing 5-wave decline in wave C underway. Let's get into the hourly count. So it's hard to know whether this whole sideways pattern here is all of wave 4, or if we have, as I've shown here, triangle 4th and 5th to complete wave 3, and then some sort of a fourth wave correction higher into this week's high at 1818. We've got a series of kind of spikes lower, which has kind of killed short-term momentum. We haven't had a continuation to the downside yet, so I want to see a continuation down, break a 1750 again to confirm wave 5 of C of 4. But I think we are almost there. We're almost there. We are almost there. You probably would have been safe enough to buy at the 1750 low there. But I'm just going to hold out for that, for us to just fill that trend channel and create that final low. So if we are to fill the trend channel, we're probably looking at 17 or 1670 or so to complete wave 5 of C. So I'm going to keep an eye out for that sort of fifth wave decline to come about next week. We'll see how that goes. Okay, crude oil. Crude oil had a pretty wicked week, actually, a pretty serious decline. It was viewed as a fourth wave in the short-term count, so you can actually, if you are a subscriber, you know that. I'm just going to update this 4-hour count here while I'm speaking. because that's what professionals do. Okay, so we have the possibility of a third wave in top in this is actually short-term pattern is a little bit tricky because we could have an expanded flat. That decline, this week's decline can be viewed as a 5-wave decline. So this could be wave A, B, and C, expanded flat wave 4, and then a run higher into wave 5 as we are now experiencing. So the idea that, well, let's go to the hourly count and I'll show you. Um, so the possibility is that we have either an expanded flat wave 4 or we have a zigzag, but the decline does read as a reasonable 5-wave decline. So it's it's up in the air on that one really. But for the moment, I've stuck to this ABC down in wave 4, and then we were looking for that rally over the last day or two. So that has come in. We've retraced most of the decline, so we're back up towards that internal B wave again, 74.40 area. Here is where the test is going to come in. Okay, so the alternate count right now um, is for a decline in a wave 1 and a rally in a wave 2. So, um, if we fail at this B wave high and we turn impulsively enough, let's say, towards that 70 handle again, we challenge that 70 handle. That will favor the idea that we have a third wave underway. But for the moment, I'm going to track this fifth wave and see how it pans out next week. Okay, S&P. For our account, you can see been expecting this decline in the first wave uh, forever and a day, but the Fed seems to want to goad people by forever and ever, and that so far is what people are doing the bidding of the federal government. Oh, how strange we are. Okay, tracking the top of this fifth wave, it still can be viewed as an ending diagonal. The main problem I have with the main issue is the fact that we have a pretty major crossover here between a wave 1 high and a wave 4 low. So that that fact still allows us, let's say, the luxury of calling this an ending diagonal, and an ending diagonal still underway. So we'll just have to see how that pans out over the next couple of days. Here we have I haven't any favored view on what's going on here. The decline this week was, it was reasonable. It was pretty impulsive looking. It could be that we have a larger B wave in action, and we're heading higher in wave C now. I suppose that's let's say the easiest fallback position to have on this pattern. But we don't have a similar type of, or let's say a similar magnitude decline as the previous B waves had traced out within this recent rally. So it's a kind of a toss up here, and at this moment in time, it looks like this final ABC up. Well, maybe maybe it'll be quite a constrained C wave, and we'll just hit that fib target of 4377, so 4377, as we were looking at earlier on in the week. If that's the case, then so be it, and we'll watch again for another fall down into the trend channel. I don't really have much else to say on the S&P at the moment, so let's move on. Okay, here is silver. Silver, we'll go to the daily count here. Kind of stuck in no man's land at the moment. The probability is that we've got, let's say, a triple combination here of a second wave. My favored outcome here is that we drop into $21 and we complete a C wave down. That hasn't happened. We had a reasonable stab at it last week, and we've been pretty corrective this week so far. So you'd want to see some follow through next week to kind of emulate what happened last week in that nice spike lower that we had. Here's the hourly count. I'm tracking a third and fourth and fifth wave of a wave 3 of a wave C. So this count will allow for an acceleration lower in a third of a fifth of a third next week. We just haven't had no confirmation of that just yet. You There's a couple of ways you can view this pattern off the high. It could be wave 1 down, running flat wave 2. It could be wave 1 and 2 are already complete, and we're now working on a wave 1 and 2 at a lower degree. I think if we fail today at breaking the 2620 level, and we fall again, that will probably favor this simplified wave 1-2 pattern. We'll see how that goes. Suffice to say, I think we still favor the downside. We've got 2550 at an initial target for wave 5 of 3, but I think we should probably head below that again. And all in all, we should hold below 2676 as this market, or as this fourth and fifth wave closes out. Here we have Bitcoin still favoring the idea that we get a decline into a fifth wave, as shown here. And I would love to see a decline back towards that 13,000 level again. So it could be quite, minimum target would be 28,560 again for wave 5, but it's yet to be seen how. Well, no, actually, it's not yet to be seen. We can see how quickly that Bitcoin can take up a decline when it actually starts. The rebound rally here has been pretty lackluster of late. We've done sideways to nothing this week. Let's go to the short-term count and we'll see. It's still a possibility that we have a 1 and 2 pattern underway. So we could have a 1 and then expand a flat second wave before we head down into a third of a third. We had this quite marked range contraction over the last few weeks into this week's kind of interim high here, and we broke down below out of that wedge again. So the count favors the fact that we continue lower and we break we trace out 5 waves down in wave 3 of 5. So let's see whether that comes our way next week. There's a few options for that second wave. Let's mark another high there. So if we get a challenge of 35,900 again and then fall, that will favor the expanded flat second wave and then a decline into a third wave. But apart from that, I think Bitcoin is going to continue lower for the next, let's say, a few weeks at least, I think. The only way I think I'll change my mind on that is if we get, an all-out acceleration above 41,200. At this point in time, it doesn't look likely at all, does it? Okay, so you read the screen. We're at the end of days. It's time to get right with God. Do that before the market completely destroys all your savings and your pensions and your, your will to carry on in this world. Keep looking up, keep hoping, stay strong, stay faithful, and all will be well in Jesus' name. Alrighty, have a good weekend. God bless you all you subscribers. God bless you especially. And I will see you tonight for the nightly update on the website, and I will see you all in YouTube land next week. Bye bye.